Hello, this is Randy, your drunken prophet. Once again, we want to talk tonight about what was I telling you about?
The law of attraction.
The law of attraction. Uh, First off, I wanted to give a shout out to a medium that I come across a while back, and we had a wonderful conversation. Her name is Angie Harris, and she is wonderful. You guys need to really look her up. She's genuine. She answered every question that I ever had, and I don't think if she was not genuine, she would not have known these answers. So she's a breath of fresh air. So let me put it that way. So anyway, the way the law of attraction works is you want to manifest something in your mind that you want, and the universe will give it to you. Anything. But it's not that easy, and that's why I'm still broke, and I don't you know I don't have a lot of money or anything like that. But I understand how it works. I just don't know really. I'm not fluent enough to make it work. But I will give you some key points in my life where I did make it work. So I'll go back so many years to where I had recently gotten divorced, and I did not really know what to do with my life. And so something told me I need to buy a toy. And so I thought, well, I could buy a boat,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't have anything to pull it with. And so if I bought a boat and I didn't have any money, I I'd have to buy a truck or something to pull the boat with. And so that wasn't going to work. And so next thing was give me a motorcycle.
Yeah.
It had been a number of years since I'd owned a motorcycle, but I mean, I thought at that time that was a pretty good idea. So I started thinking about what kind of motorcycle would I want. I did not want a Harley Davidson because they're a lot of money. Um, Polaris was making motorcycles, but they were kind of. So I was thinking, probably the cheapest and most reliable would be a Japanese motorcycle and a cruiser. Never owned a cruiser. All my bikes had always been crotch rockets and things, but I was getting older. So I decided I was going to buy some sort of cruiser Japanese motorcycle. Well, I looked. This was a long time ago where I don't think maybe Craigslist at the time was the big deal. Facebook wasn't even a thing. So um, my cousin knew that I was looking for a motorcycle, and she was dating a guy um, that had a couple of motorcycles that he wanted to get rid of.
Yeah.
And so I get over to his house, and he raises the garage door, and there's two motorcycles. One's a Honda Goldwing, not a cruiser, but the other one was a Suzuki Intruder Silver. And I was like, that's my bike. I knew it was my bike.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you tell the universe this is what you desire. Not want, but desire. And I thought, oh my God, this is the perfect motorcycle. And so I remember asking him how much he wanted for it. I think it was 5,000 maybe. Anyway, so I called the banks on Monday. My credit was not very good because I just went through a bankruptcy and a divorce and all that kind of, nasty stuff. And so I started talking to the banks, and nobody would give you a loan for a motorcycle back then, especially. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
nope, nope, nope. And I was like, that's weird because I just know this is my motorcycle. I know it is. And so as time went on, this guy's name, well, it didn't really matter what his name was. But anyway, he had this motorcycle, and it wasn't like somebody was going to jump in and buy it in front of me, but I knew I was on borrowed time, and I needed to get this motorcycle bought.
Yeah.
And so I had a 401 at work that I could borrow money against, but I already had a loan with them, and they wasn't going to give me any more money until that was paid off. So that didn't work. And I was like, I gave it to the universe. I said, how, I don't know how I'm going to pay for this motorcycle, but somehow I'm going to get this motorcycle.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's how this works with, you have to know that you're going to get
Yeah.
it. You don't have to, figure out how. The universe will figure that part out. You just gotta have the desire to bring it into your life. And so you have to be careful with some words here. Words are powerful. And so you don't want to say anything like want. Because if you want something, you'll never have it. Because the universe is answering what you desired. You said, I want this. So you'll always want it. You'll never have it. And that's the universe answering your desire. So what you want to do is you want to go ahead and you want to manifest it as if you already own it.
Mm-hmm.
And the universe will actually kind of work quickly. So in my thing with my motorcycle, I had finally I had to let go of everything. I didn't know where else to look for money or anything like that. So I went to my dad's house. Well, I should say my parents' house, and I went over there that day to watch the NASCAR race with Dad. And he he asked me. He says, "So, did you ever buy that motorcycle?" And I said, "No, Dad, I didn't buy that motorcycle. I don't have any goddamn money, you know." And he said, "Mary," that's my mom. "Where's that envelope we got the other day from the credit card company?" And she said, "Well, it's right here." And she brought it in, and he handed it to me. And I thought, what the hell is this? And I opened it up, and it was checks on his credit card that if you wrote a check for something, you could buy whatever you wanted with no interest for 1 year. Well, the loan that I had against my 401 was only for 6 more months, and I'd have it paid off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I could easily then switch it over to this money. And he goes, "Oh, as long as you make the payments on it, you can use this." And the credit card was like a $40,000 credit card. He owed nothing on it. And he said, "So as long as you make the payments on it, you can write him a check." And there it was. The universe had answered my all my desires, and I bought that motorcycle, and that's the way it works. The problem is, like I said, is we don't believe because we're humans, and so we think, oh, that's just too easy, and so it doesn't work because you don't believe it works, but it does work.
Yeah.
It does absolutely work. And so if you desire something, you want to look at it as if you already own it. And I know the motorcycle's a materialistic thing, and that's fine. But I'm saying, whatever it is you desire in your world, you can actually attain it just by bringing it into your existence. There's already a version of you out there that has this thing. And so all you have to do is desire it, and it will bring that into your existence. So, anyway, that's my spiel for the night. So, y'all have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon.